joined ISKCON in 1986. And for 1 year I was in Bombay, and then next year I was in Ahmedabad. And then my Diksha Guru, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he wanted me to, he gave me choice. Either I come to Vrindavan or I go to Canada. It was like two extreme choices, and I didn't know any of them. So I told him, I don't know anything, so you just choose. So then at Gurukul at that time needed some teachers. So the principal of the Gurukul at that time asked from my Guru Maharaj if he can send me and my sister here. So, but he didn't want, my Guru Maharaj didn't want to send me and her both together. So he told me, okay, you go to Vrindavan. So it was like a blessing. Of course, at that time I didn't know that what is coming for me in Vrindavan. When I came to Vrindavan, I did not really like it very much here, because I was coming from big city, you know. I was born and brought up in Delhi, big city. I was in Bombay, big city, so in all these big cities. But when I came to Vrindavan, in the beginning I didn't like it very much here. I wanted to go back. But very kindly, Krishna kept me here. So I came here in 1988 June or July. And at the end of 1988, there was one Mataji in Gurukul. I was in Gurukul, teaching Gurukul. Prabhupada disciple, she was making a book on the trees, Vrindavan trees. So she was going to see Gurudev very often. They knew that, Prabhupada disciples know, a group of devotees, they were going to see Gurudev at that time. And so she asked me if I can come and translate for the book. I said, okay. And I never heard about Gaudiya Math, I never heard about Gurudev. I didn't know anything about all these things. I was just a new devotee also, just 2 years, 3 years. So I said, okay, I can translate. Not that I was very good in Hindi and English, but good enough for her to understand. So we went there. She took me there to Mathura, and Gurudev's room was on the first floor, the old room. And so he was sitting inside. We waited outside for a few seconds, few minutes. And then Naveen Krishna Prabhu, who is now Madhav Maharaj, he called us in. So it was me and this Mataji. That was the first time I saw Gurudev. And I offered my obeisances, sannyasi, I offered my obeisances. And then she said, this Mataji said, ask him about something about the trees. And then he asked, who is she for me? And then she said, oh, her name is Purnima, and she's teaching in Gurukul. And he looked at me right in my eyes. He said, Purnima? I said, yes, Maharaj. And then he said, you know who are you? I said, I was like surprised. No, yeah, my name is Purnima. He said, no, you are a Gopi. And he said, you are a Dasi of Radharani. You are a Gopi. You are not just Purnima. And I was like, okay, you know, because I had no idea what he's talking about. I had no idea what's happening. But anyway, he just said in such a sweet way that I just loved it. And I thought, oh, that's very nice, to be Radharani's Dasi or Radharani's Gopi. Yeah, that's really sweet. So anyway, she spoke to Maharaj, and I was sitting there and I was translating. And in between, he was just kept looking at me. And then when we were moving out, we were going out, and then he said, come back to see me. I said, okay, Maharaj. And then we came back. And then, of course, I was in Gurukul, and I was single at that time. I wasn't married. So for me, it was difficult to go to Mathura by myself. I didn't know the place. I didn't know anything. So I was always waiting for someone to take me with. So this Mataji again took me there, again for translation. And so in this way, and then there are some other Matajis that took me also, then I came to know the few proper disciple Matajis, and then they were taking me also time to time. And every time I just experienced that I'm going closer and closer to him. And every time he was so loving that I never felt that I never knew him. I always felt, I think I knew him